What's up and good morning, War Report family. It's December the 8th and it's Facts or Null Friday. You guys know how we do this. Strap it on.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Good morning, War Report family. It's your boy Mike G. I'm here with my guy B Will. It's Facts or Null Friday, where we take questions from you, the fans, about what you are thinking about that's going on in Auburn football. Before we get into that, let's talk about the necessary here, guys. Share this video if you're watching on YouTube at the War Report. Hashtag get your weight up so people know where to find our content. Obviously, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. This helps us in the algorithm and spreads the good word of the War Report. You can add us on social media at the War Report on Twitter and Instagram, TW Report on TikTok. If you're listening in the podcast world right now, what you can do for us is you can go and subscribe and download and continue to listen, whether it's in the shower or on your morning drive to work. We appreciate you guys for supporting us. Be Will, before we get started, man, how you feeling this morning? It's the bowl. Auburn has a bowl game.
Yeah.
We know Auburn's bowl destination. It is Nashville. It's the Music City Bowl, north of Birmingham. ETA 3 hours to downtown Nashville. Yeah. How you feel about Auburn football right now? They picked up a lot. What's going on? What do you feel?
Oh man, we doing good in recruiting. Everybody's feeling good about that, but I'm waiting to see who all's jumping in this portal so we can know who's going to be playing in this game. I mean, so far we haven't had any starters jump in there, I don't think, but I mean, they only got a little while to jump in there so they can start securing some destinations that are best for them. We'll see how this works out, but I'm waiting to hear all the announcements. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Look, let's go ahead and jump right in here. You guys know what the drill is. You submitted your questions on Twitter. We're going to put some of those questions up. Continue to put your facts or not questions in the chat. After the break, we will get to those questions. As always, this is brought to you by RogueShop.com. Let's get to it, Twitter fam. First question, Corey Pesru, that's War Eagle of 95 on Twitter, asks, facts or no, we as a fan base should be full bug on recruiting right now. We're flipping KJ, LJ, Ryan, and everybody. Yeah, Corey wants to know, facts or no, Auburn is landing a #1 class. This is what this says.
Basically, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say no.
You're not full send on the book? Okay.
I'm not full. Oh, okay. Let's book. First of all, yes, let us book. If Hugh Freeze has been selling that this is a foundational Auburn University football class and the one that will mark the true beginning of the Hugh Freeze era, then yes, I am buying in because the players are echoing that when they come and visit. They're echoing that after they sign. So that means that something special is brewing. He does have the recruits bought in on this. We should be booging. The problem is flipping KJ, LJ, Ryan. That's a lot of flipping. I'm not saying we can't do some of that flipping. I don't know we're going to do all that flipping, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of flipping. Look, the Ryan Williams one is interesting. I think this is the most bug thing ever. Like, Auburn fans have convinced themselves that this kid is going to reclassify and flip all in the same announcement. I believe that announcement is coming in about 3 days. So we'll see what he has to say. As far as the other ones are concerned, some late visits by KJ Bolden, and LJ, I believe, got a visit. And man, Hugh Freeze has not quit putting the full court pressure on these guys. So a couple more flips, man. He's got a lot of playing time to sell. We'll see. I'm not full send on the book. I'm full send on top 10 class.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically there. We sign anybody else and we're top 10 just because of how the numbers
sign a half star, you're going to be top 10.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we'll see. Our next question comes from Thomas Jones. He's a big cool 9999. He says, facts or no, Auburn will sign a super surprise from the transfer portal that no one saw coming. What would be a super surprise from the portal?
Super surprise would have to be one of these guys who everybody wants, like a Walter Nolan from A&M. Like one of the quarterbacks everybody's going to be after, a Cam Ward, a Riley Leonard. But I'm actually going to say nah here. I'm going to say nah. And the reason I'm saying nah is because look how much of the energy is going towards the incoming class.
Yeah.
I think now with the NIL, what we have is a clear reflection of NFL teams that choose to go draft versus choosing to go free agency. Free agency, you know exactly what you're getting. They're proven guys, but they're expensive. NFL draft, you just have to scout. It depends on how well did you scout. How well can you develop? Bring them in young while they're cheap. You stack them up, and all of a sudden, all you have to do is retain that talent year after year. And if that talent pans out, it's going to be easy to retain because they're going to be having fun. You're going to be having success, which is much cheaper than going to get the top defensive lineman out of every portal class, the top quarterback out of every portal class. You can get, for the resources it's going to take to get that. And if you believe, what's this guy, the head coach in Nebraska?
Matt Rule.
If you believe Matt Rule, $750,000 to $1.5 million
for
to get
top portal QB. Right.
For top portal QB, when you could have just got a guy out of high school and developed them for the same production. I think they're doing the smart thing. They're getting them on the front end out of high school, and that's where their energy is focused. I think anything out of the portal will be stopgaps. It's not that we can't find some good ones, but a lot of the portal offers right now, Division II offensive linemen, JUCO offensive linemen, group of 5 wide receivers, defensive linemen. We are not chasing the biggest transfer portal players right now. I think that's a strategy. And for what they're trying to build there, I think it's a sound one. So I'm going to say, nah, we don't get a really big fish out the portal.
Yeah, I think that people are forgetting, Brian. I'm going now on this one because I think people are forgetting that the money is a factor. And you got to pay top dollar for the kids coming out of high school. And you got to pay, 1B money to the kids in the transfer portal that are, can't miss us. Right. So, who would be the big surprise in that scenario? I'm not sure. It's difficult. And I caution fans all the time. There is not this endless pot of money from which to draw NIL funds from.
Yeah.
The money runneth, drieth, Brian. It's not. You're going to run out at some point. And especially before you started winning with the guys that they're paying for.
Right.
So, see some results on the field, and maybe that NIL bucket will grow, and you can go get whoever you want. But for right now, I'm going with nah on this one. Yeah. Our next question comes from Corey Weber. Corey, longtime listener, says, facts or nah, we signed more D linemen from the portal than wide receivers.
Facts. We're thinner at defensive line than we are at wide receiver. We already lost 2 to the portal. Now, they were younger guys. They weren't highly recruited guys, but I don't know if that means anything. I just think we're losing some very proven production on defensive line with Marcus Harris. We've got a couple of guys there still, but we know we have been flush with wide receiver talent in this incoming class. If we just sign who's committed, add one transfer guy, and I think they're going to press for Will Shepherd, the guy out of Vanderbilt. That's one. That's it. We're done. We're done at wide receiver because you got a lot of young guys you're paying, that you told that you're going to play. You told them that they were going to come in and contribute immediately. You can't stack the room in front of them. So we're not going to get too many wide receivers. I think we just get one. Defensive lineman, I think we need at least two, probably 3. So we can have some insurance of some quality bodies up front because we don't have a whole lot of defensive linemen in this upcoming class. So I think we sign at least 2 defensive linemen, at max 1 wide receiver out of the transfer portal. That's what I think. So I'm going to say facts to this. More defensive linemen than wide receivers.
Well, more defensive linemen than wide receivers. I'm going to go facts on this one as well, too. Look, you've got a huge class of 4- and 5-star receivers coming in. Feels weird to say that, but you got 2 top 30 receivers coming in who guys know are going to play. Plus, you've got 2 4-star receivers. I mean, you've got 3 top 200 receivers. I'm sorry, 4 top 200 receivers. 2 of them in the top 25 in the country, Brian. And those guys are not coming out here with some guarantees. I don't think that Auburn can afford to bring in a bunch of experienced guys who might get playing time before them, might do well, that you can't justify taking off the field. Right. Like, so you maybe go after 1 or 2, guys who are just looking to step up to the big leagues. You don't have to pay top NIL dollar for. They're just trying to get out of South Alabama or you know what I mean? No offense if you live in Mobile, but Auburn I find to be a better place to live. And you give them an opportunity. So we'll see here. But I'm gonna go facts on this one. I think Corey's on to something here. More D linemen than wide receivers. Our next question comes from War Damn Eagle for Life. That's Bowman1193 on Twitter, and he asks, facts or no, more than one Auburn commit will flip away from Auburn on or before National Signing Day. I pray it's not. He gave his. He says nah. He answered his own question.
This is interesting because when you play if you're going to play the Dirty Mac game, then getting Dirty Mac is a part of the game. Like if you're going to be flipping other people's recruits, I'm saying like this is just a part of the game. I remember last year when we flipped K and Lee, and then coach, that guy from Ohio State, Ryan Day was like, well, I didn't know. We had to keep trying to recruit him. I thought he was just committed and got like, hey man, that ain't the game. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what the game is. Ohio State done pulled plenty of guys away from other teams. In this case, Hugh Freeze knows the game because he's running the game on Florida's recruits, on Bama's recruits. I don't think there's any way that he doesn't ensure against this by staying in contact. He's talked about how much energy and time he spends recruiting. That is constant communication and talking to parents and families and players and saying, we need you. What do you need? Come see us. I'm going to say nah. I'm going to say nah because I think he's been putting in overtime, keeping this class together and building this class up even more. I'm not saying it can't happen in the future, but right now I think we are hey, why not us? Hey, yeah, look, I know you got a man, but hey, just come and see you after you get off work. I just want to talk. We'll have a drink. Right. He's in that position right now, and I think he gets everything he needs out of this class and nobody leaves. So I'm going to say nah for this class. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with nah on this one. If I will bug on anything, I'll bug. It's that once you decide on Auburn, this late in the game, baby, you stick with Auburn. That's it. There were some rumors floating around that Perry Thompson was going to flip back to Bama this late in the game. I'm going, nah. He already knows what it smells like in Tuscaloosa. That's why he flipped. The smell hasn't changed, B. He's going to stick with Auburn.
He's been recruiting for Auburn so harder than anybody. Like, why would he flip now?
Like, he's got to look his peers in the face and say, I know I said come here, but see ya in the Iron Bowl, and I'll be on the other sideline. No, guys, that's not happening. Perry Thompson is sticking with Auburn. These kids are sticking with Auburn. Auburn is now the place to be. I'm full bug on this one. I'm going to go nah here. No flips. Our last question comes from Daniel Moultrie. That's DMoultrie55_56 on Twitter. And he asks, facts or not, Walker White takes over the QB1 role before the end of 2024.
I say nah. Knowing that we're going to keep Peyton Thorne, whether or not it's going to be Holden or another quarterback that's in the room, either way, I think QB1 and QB2, they want to have somebody who has experience at both QB1 and 2. His best chance to get on the field is during some garbage time. If we actually do what we're supposed to do in our bye games this year, then he can get in the game. Then he can get a couple fourth quarters. But other than that, nah, he's not going to be QB1 unless something catastrophic happens, which I don't wish that on any player that plays for us. So no, I'm going to say nah.
Yeah, look, this would be tough. I agree with you. I think if the QB room stays as is, Holden is QB2, and then like you're saying, Walker White would have to jump Holden before the end of the spring to take over without an injury. And I don't even want to talk about the possibility of injuries for any of these kids.
Right.
So you hope Peyton stays healthy, you hope Holden stays healthy, and you hope that the best man wins. Right. And that's it. Right. Yeah. So I think Walker's time is 2025. Right. Now, and freshman QB in this league. Now, the way this question was framed, though, would there be enough development time between now and the end of this, like the last third of the season, last 4 games of the season for Walker White to develop into an SEC starting QB, that they will actually let run the full package of the offense rather than throwing him out there and asking him to hand off every play because you're scared of letting him make a mistake. I felt like they managed Peyton Thorne last season to the tune of only 239 attempts. on the season. If you watch the show, you know how much less that is. That's over 100 reps less than the SEC average for starting quarterbacks. That's 100 less opportunities for Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson and Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Kane and Jay Fair and whoever else is going to be, Caleb Burton. That's 100 less opportunities for those guys to catch the ball.
Right. That's a lot.
If you throw Walker White out there, I would fear the same thing.
Right.
Now listen. Yeah. If they let him sling it, I'm all right with it. Like, but you know, because in my opinion, next year's no stopgap year anyway. But we'll see what Auburn decides to do. This is gonna be an interesting one to me. Walker White's development. You've got to get your guy from high school out. So by 2025, look, Peyton's out of here. And you're assuming that he's your guy. He's going to have been in your system for a year. And Holden, if Holden has not taken over the role by the end of the year from Peyton,
right,
then Walker White is definitely your guy. If Holden takes over, the math changes, but we'll see how that goes. Look, you know what? I like this question a lot. I like this question a lot. I think we're going to talk a lot of QB here moving forward, Brian, and what Q3 does at the QB position, I think will reverberate through them continuing to try to recruit talent, offensive talent, and selling the kids that there is a vision on offense that that makes sense for them. Yeah. We want to know if you've got a vision for your private parts that involves Manscaped. Manscaped.com is a sponsor of this show in part. We love Manscaped. Santa Baby, the season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsors of today's show. Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have just launched their 5th generation performance package to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Take care of your special snowflake with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and watch your South Pole shine like never before. Get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com and using code REPORT for 20% off, free shipping. Mrs. Claus will thank you. What could be better than giving the gift of good hygiene and a few laughs? They put that in there. Like, wait, what were we laughing at? We're laughing game down there. You know what I'm saying?
Don't laugh at this girl. Girl, what you laughing at?
I'm sorry. As always, this show is also brought to you by The Rogue Shop. RogueShop.com. Because when she starts laughing, you're going to need something to calm you down. RogueShop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Sleep, stress, anxiety, pain, whatever you are doing, Rogue Shop has something that will cure your ails in life. Longtime supporters of the War Report, we appreciate them for being on the show, constantly supporting us, and you can support us by supporting them. Now, when you guys go to the Rogue Shop, Richard leaves you guys these little notes in your orders. You share those. Continue to share that on social media for us so people know they get great service when they go to the Rogue Shop. We appreciate them. Stand behind businesses that stand behind us, please, and thank you. Let's get to the comments here. You don't know the drills. This is your first Facts or Not Friday. We take some questions from Twitter, but now it's time for the chat to put their Facts or Not in. We're going to get to the super chat first. Hunter Hannah says, Facts or Not, Thorn eclipses 2,500 yards passing this season.
It's a shame that that's the threshold, because really that
was supposed to be the floor.
That's supposed to be the floor. We thought 2,700 yards in a bad Michigan State year was supposed to be the floor. It was not. So I'm going to say Facts. He eclipses this because, again, to your point, Mike, we got to get these attempts up because now we have wide receivers who we recruited on the promise that they were going to play and be productive in year one. We've got to throw the ball. We've got to throw it. And with some of the talent that I've seen between Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman alone, buddy, it's got to be some, throw it up, they down there somewhere, throws and catches that we're going to be able to make here. So I think Peyton Thorne has better numbers this season just from the ability of those two guys, even as freshmen. So, yes, it's going to improve. I think he gets over 2,500 yards this season.
Yeah, I'm going Facts on this one just on pure hope. because it can't look like it did last year. Peyton Thorne is a low 60-something% completion percentage guy. So all them yards he threw for Michigan State, that was on 30-plus attempts a year where they let him push the ball down the field. We went back and we looked at the numbers. We looked at his passing chart. If you're going to only let him throw it 18 to 22 times a game, it's going to be really hard for him to eclipse that that completion percentage. So one of two things has to happen next year. You either got to let him sling it a lot more, which means creating more offense and more opportunities on offense, right? Mm-hmm. So if his completion percentage stays the same, his yards per average has to go up significantly so that you are moving the ball, right? I hope everybody followed that. Or his completion percentage has to go up significantly, 8 to 10%, on fewer throws. So that
he's
you
never
are moving
been
the ball.
Yeah, he's never been there. 3 years now in 2 different places. He's never been above 63%.
Yeah, you can be. Listen, we've seen QBs make the jump from mid to low 60s to close to 70. But the way the college game is going, God, if you're not really close to 70%, like the teams that compete have quarterbacks that are in the high 60s, bordering on 70% completion percentage. Yeah. So, that's where I'm at with Peyton Thorne. If he's going to get to 2,500 yards, one of those two things has to happen. Our next chat comes from P-Pass. He says, facts or no, where are the speed traps near Nashville? This is not a facts or no, bro. not asking for a friend, asking for me. I don't know. I mean, I see cops on my drive to Nashville, but like, I think I don't know if you have to worry about that for Auburn fans. I think
where would we be going? Will we be going 280 to Birmingham, then going 65 north?
Yeah, you got to take 65.
65 is pretty wide open most of the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, it will be the holidays, so if you believe the stories about end of the year quotas, definitely watch out on your way up the road. It's pretty wide open, so you should be able to see them. If you don't know this, if you have an iPhone and Apple Maps now, when you're using Apple navigation, tells you where cops are at.
Is that Waze? Is that what it is?
No.
It's not Waze.
It's Apple Maps. I was shocked when it happened. It said speed trap up ahead. And I was like, wait, what? My Apple Maps told me that. So, yeah. Didn't know you were going to get that on Facts or Not Friday, but you got it. Yeah. The CB, he's a droid guy. He's a green bubble guy, guys.
Like, yes, I am. The superior operating system.
Let's Prince Chuku says facts or no. We get a portal commit by Sunday. That's over the weekend.
This is facts. We got a couple of visits going on. We got we got some Group of 5 and some FCS guys who are going to be visiting over the next few days. I think we definitely get at least a couple. As a matter of fact, I think we got an Indiana offensive line transfer that's here on campus now. As a matter of fact, he posted a video, said official visit. So we're going to get somebody. They're starting to fill out this offensive line first. And one of the guys that we're after, I think, is Gertrand. I'm trying to remember. I think he's a Southern Miss offensive lineman.
Right.
Heard things trending positively for us in that regard. So I think it happens relatively quickly here. We're going to get a couple of trench commits in the next couple of days.
All right. I'm going facts on this one. You're going to see them start to roll in here as Auburn fills out this class. James Sawyer says, facts and all, do we sign more D linemen than O linemen out of the transfer portal? Our friend over at Locked On seems to think there are a lot of good linemen in this portal class. Now, you know how I feel about offensive linemen in the portal. Good offensive linemen are not really transferring. I mean, that's a position where you can play without the ball. So they're not really transferring. Even in bad programs, they're not really transferring a ton. So you're picking up a lesser known guy that's good from a smaller school. When you get a lot of these linemen, there's such a need all over college football for a solid line. I'm going to go no on this one. But they need it because they only have one lineman in this class.
One defensive lineman.
No, offensive lineman.
They only have one?
One, yeah, DeAndre Carter.
Oh, that's it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be more offensive linemen than D linemen. So I'm going to say, we're not going to sign more D linemen than O linemen because we're losing at least 3 offensive linemen. We're losing Avery Jones. We're losing Gunnar Britton. And we're also losing Jones Britton. We're losing somebody else.
Cam Stutz is done.
Stutz is done. So we got to have 3. Now, we got a couple guys on campus who may be ready to step in, but also I think they're still angling for experience here. I don't think they're going to go to a true freshman or even redshirt freshman unless it's extreme need. Connor Lew was special. He was able to step in. That worked out. But
yeah,
right now, I think they've offered like 3 or 4 offensive linemen out of the portal.
Yeah.
I think they're heavier there than they are on the defensive line offers. So I think we end up signing more offensive linemen. So I'm going to say nod to this. We do not sign more D linemen and O linemen out of the portal.
Yeah, I'm going facts. I'm going the other end of this. I think they get those D linemen in to tear it up. Roderick Tisdale says facts or not, Auburn lands Will Shepherd and Walter Nolan in the transfer portal. If you don't know, Will Shepherd is the wide receiver from Vanderbilt. Walter Nolan is a defensive lineman from Texas A&M.
We are not getting Walter Nolan.
Too much book.
That's too much book. See, that's where we talked about with the spending. It's going to take so much money to get a highly touted former 5-star, a guy who actually did start to produce on the field this season. That's going to cost you a lot of money. You can get 3 G5 or other defensive linemen for the price of 1 Walter Nolan, and that's what you do. So I don't think they're spending high and heavy when it comes to defensive linemen. I do think they're going to do what they can to get Will Shepherd in here because all of those wide receivers coming in will not be ready. I think they're going to fight for him. I don't know if we get them, but I think they're going to be ready to fight for him.
Yeah, I'm going now on this one. I don't think we get either one of these guys. Dylan Brown says, facts or no, we really need a top corner when we have Rhyme to step in. How will the young guys get experience if we're bringing in transfers? So this is not really facts or no. This is more of a question. Look, this is the question at every position. You're bringing in transfers. How do you work your young guys in? Look, I think that you have to have depth, but people assume just because people transfer here, they're going to beat out the guys that are here. That's right. Not going to be the case moving forward. I think what you see is the young guys are still going to win, and a lot of these guys that they're bringing in will be backups. So now that's my answer to that.
Yeah. I'm thinking we will get the young guys experience because the secondary plays too many players. Like you play so many.
You
players
rotate on defense.
Yeah, you're rotating and stuff like that. Hugh Freeze talked about that. The depth on defense is what allowed us to, with a lack of depth, is why he tried to protect the defense with a certain style of play calling on the offense. You need depth because your young guys can still play. Injuries happen. We had guys go down all year. You need depth. You need as many guys as possible that are very good. I'm cool with bringing those in.
Matthew Cofield says, facts or not, Peyton Thorne shines next season under a more focused offense and throws for 3,000 plus yards.
Focused offense. Shines.
Throws. Yards.
Listen, he's going to throw for more than he threw for this year. That's for sure. They've got some things figured out now that they didn't have figured out last year. And again, you can't let these wide receivers down once you get them in here by not throwing to them.
I'm going now on this one. Auburn, he would be Auburn's third 3,000-yard passer in the whole history of the program. Not even bogeyed it.
I mean, but that's more about us not being a passing team, really, ever.
Yeah. So you think
more than
how much of a passing team does Auburn become next year?
Man, I think we got to pass to retain these wide receivers, man. I do.
Almost twice as many yards.
Unless we want to be the team glaring and upset every time we hear a transfer portal announcement of one of our wide receivers leaving this time next season, we've got to throw the ball in 2024. I'm going to say facts off of sheer volume alone. I think he gets to it because we got to keep these guys here once they get here. So I'm going to say facts.
Okay. For the record, if they throw the ball at least 30 times a game, that's 360 attempts on the season. Hugh Freeze's quarterbacks have averaged between 400 and 450 attempts a season. If they get them over 400, this is possible. Under 400, I'm not buying it. Last couple questions here before we get out of here. Tyrone Long says, facts or not, Auburn gets a transfer portal QB.
I'm leaning nah right now.
I'm leaning nah as well.
Leaning nah.
I think they're going to roll with the guys they have, man, and bet on a young freshman here in year 3. And last question, Lib TV says, says, facts or nah, Walker White lights up 80. He has a great spring.
Wait a minute. Who else coming in from the wide receiver class in the spring? Cam Coleman is, but Perry Thompson isn't, right?
Yes, Perry Thompson is going to be a summer enrollee.
So we won't have all the studs on campus quite yet. But that doesn't mean we can't do some work. You know what? I'm gonna say facts. I hope the young man shows out in spring game.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting question here. Yeah, at the end of the day, like how can the third string QB really light up 8A? Like, is he gonna get enough reps to light up 8A?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, that would be my question. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. He will be enrolling early. Certainly, talked to him January the 7th. He's on campus, baby. The era of Walker White continues. Guys, the era of Manscaped is here, and you can take care of those lower parts by visiting manscaped.com and using code RAPPORT. Manscaped is a one-stop shop for all your holiday needs, as they have the perfect gift in the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, which includes loads of perfect stocking stuffers. Is your boxer game weak? Take care of the chestnuts with Manscaped's Boxers 2.0, featuring their signature jewel pouch to keep you calm, cool, and collected. Have their nails seen better days? Manscaped has you covered with the new Shears 3.0 nail grooming kit. It comes in a nice leather pouch, and I mean, it's very chic, Brian. Like, it's very, you know what I mean, sophisticated for grooming. Does that have nasty nose hairs? Save the day with the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer. Tons of products at Manscaped. Get the best stocking stuffers by going to manscaped.com and using code RAPPORT for 20% off, plus free shipping. Mrs. Claus will thank you. Rogue Shop will also thank you. Visit rogueshop.com for all your herbal supplement needs. Rogueshop.com, whatever it is that ails you in life, pain, stress, sleep, anxiety, rogueshop.com has something to help you through. Use code RAPPORT to get 15% off that order at rogueshop.com. Longtime sponsors of the War Report. We appreciate them for sticking on with us for as long as they have. Just a great sponsor. Great business. Support local. Support small businesses. Support businesses that support us. RogueShop.com. Guys, that's it for another morning drop. We'll be back at you guys on Sunday with the weekend tailgate, where we will talk more about the goings-on in college football. And Auburn football. The Heisman ceremony is this weekend. We're going to have lots to talk about on Sunday. You don't want to miss that show. We'll be back at you. Signing off, as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.